Edgar Allan Poe Biography. Edgar Allan Poe was born in Boston in the year 1809. It's catalogued as one of the best poets of the history. Edgar lost his parents at the age of 2 years. John Allan was his substitute father, and he was a very rich man. By the way, Allan never had a good relation with him. Edgar had lived in UK with his substitute parents, but returns to study at the University of Virginia. Nevertheless, he was expelled out. Edgar have took the decision to travel to his natal town, where he wrote his first book, titled Tamerlane and Other Poems. He subscribed himself in the army where he going to spend 2 years of his life and make a book of poems titled Al Araf. He was expelled out again in 1932. He traveled to Baltimore where he is going to engage with Virginia, his young cousin. She only had 14 years. He started to work at Southern Baltimore Messenger, a local newspaper. Under his direction, the newspaper became the most popular media of Baltimore. Between the years 1840 and 1950, he published Philadelphia Tales of the Grotesque and Arabesque, The Gold Beetle, and The Crown, and other poems, books that made him a name. Virginia died in the year 1947 after several health problems. Edgar can't realize the loss of his lover and fell over to alcoholism and drug addiction. He died at Baltimore. He was found unconscious in the street but died days after by a severe attack at the hospital. The Mask of the Red Death. Summary. The history unfolds in an abbey. Inside resides a lot of nobles, among them Prospero, the main character. They are living there because the Red Death, the most fatal pestilence ever. While waiting together, they decided to organize glitzy parties. After 6 months, Prospero decided to make a big party. The theme of the party was masks. The party was developed at 7 rooms. The black room evoked a terrifying aspect, and the room had an old clock that emitted a sound each hour. When the clock sounded at 12 o'clock, a strange character appeared. His face was covered with a rare mask. Prospero ordered to catch him, but nobody dared. The strange character moved through the halls of the party to reach the room of the rare clock. Prospero took a dagger from one of his wards and went to where the strange man was. But when he saw the mask, he felt and died. Was the Red Death. Prospero is the main character. He is recognized as a happy, risky, and intelligent person, but especially for his egocentrism. The second character is the Red Death. The pestilence materializes as a character dreary and terrifying. The central theme of the history, in my opinion, is the analogy that the author of Humility tries to make. The egocentricity of the prince made him believe that he could escape the fate of the mortals. but fate gave him a lesson in humility. The conflict presented in the literature is represented in the idea of not dying, under the bias of material opulence and ego. The theme is continually touched, and the outcome of the history marks the synthesis of the conflict. The Telltale Heart. It's a history that takes place in a house. The main actor lives with an old man and leads a healthy relationship with him, but he has a problem with the old man's eye. He is disturbed by his presence. Tired of mortifying himself with the existence of the eye, he decides to make a plan to end it. For 7 nights he visits the old man's room in the night without success. However, the eighth night, after a few false steps and a long wait, he attacks and chokes him with his mattress. He dismembers the body, hitting it under floorboards. After the call of a neighbor, three police arrive at the house. The main character let the police enter it, and he was never nervous, but after time began to hear noises in his ears. That noises was becoming louder, began to become paranoid, and told the police what happened. The main character is considered a very nervous person. He arguing his madness, saying that is only the sensitivity of the senses. He's very rare. It's like a sociopath. The old man is described like a normal person, but the eye of him is considered similar to a vulture. Conflict is represented in the anguish of the main character for arguing that he was not crazy. However, his actions always proved the opposite of his words.